Today, we're going to be talking about the four forms of capital you have as a non-profit founder even before you raise your first dollar. Because most founders usually underrate themselves, they underrate their organization, they underrate their story, and they think what they need is out there. But in many occasions, everything you need to succeed is already with you. You already have access to everything you need to succeed. You only need to recognize them and use them to get what you want. So today we're going to be exploring four types of capital, four forms of capital every founder already has that you can tap into to not just raise money for your mission, but also impact the lives of the people you're called to serve. If you're just watching this or you're watching me for the first time, my name is Rooney and I'm the founder of Ideal Founders LLC, where we teach and equip founders to unlock transformational funding and partnership for their mission. So one challenge we see within the nonprofit space is founders struggling to raise money. And this is so common because if you look at the statistics, more than 70% of the nonprofits out there are struggling financially. And the main reason is not because people do not give, it's not because they don't have a great mission. The main reason is because founders do not know how to make use of what they have to get what they want. So for that reason, so many organizations are struggling, so many founders are struggling. But today, that's going to be the very end of it because I'm going to be walking you through the exact template, the exact, capitals that you have that you can begin to tap into to raise money for your mission. So the very first capital is what we call the intellectual capital. This is what you know. This is the intelligence you already have. So many founders underrate this. Your knowledge, your understanding, the unique expertise and experience you have is a huge form of capital that can transform the lives of the people you're called to serve and also help you raise money. So for example, if you're one who is highly skilled in a particular field, that's a huge type of capital that you can bring forward to raise money for your organization. So for example, let's say you're a child counselor, right? And you have a nonprofit that impacts or counsel kids. Your intellectual capital, basically what you know in that field, you being a counselor, can be used to raise money for that very mission. If you put together a book that spells out the step-by-step process, right, to be able to counsel a kid that you sell to these parents, you're going to start raising money for your mission. If you are a professional athlete and you have an organization that empowers athletes, right, you can be able to put together a book that helps athletes get from point A to point B, or an ebook, a course, a material, and then you get people buy that, and that could be a source of income, not just for yourself, but also for your organization. So your intellectual capital, what you know, can be very valuable to your mission, can help you raise money for your mission. You just need to know how to apply it. Raising money is not all about begging, or it's not all about trying to reach out to people to ask for money. Sometimes you can be able to put out products, you can be able to put out services based on your expertise that brings in money consistently for your organization. And this will take you beyond the part of begging or trying to explain yourself to people and start bringing in real funding because you have value to provide the marketplace. The second type of capital is what we call the relationship capital. You have family and friends, people with resources, people with money, who can be able to support your mission, who can be able to support your cause. You need to be able to tap into these relationships you already have. And when we talk about family and friends, we're not just talking about people who can give you money. Sometimes you may have a friend or a family member who is a graphic designer. They can be able to support you in terms of helping your organization create graphic designs, right? You could have somebody within your network that helps with developing websites. That means you can be able to get somebody from within your network to help your organization develop a professional website without you paying for it. You could have a friend who has a business. You can be able to tap into that relationship to get them to fund or sponsor your organization, or fund or sponsor the first program. So you see, the relationships you have are so valuable. It's just that you've not taken time to, outline the different values you have around yourself as regards your relationship. You don't always have to pay for stuff, especially since you are a non-profit. You can find people from within your network that can support you. So it's very important to itemize your relationship and know how your relationship can be able to contribute to the organization that you've started. And your relationship, we call the relationships when it comes to fundraising the low-hanging fruit. Because for people to give to your organization, they need to know, like, and trust you. And the relationships you already have, a lot of them already know, like, and trust you. Another important aspect is to raise money, you can only withdraw from a relationship you've invested into. So your relationships are relationships you've already invested into. You've shown up for them, you've called them, these are relationships you can withdraw from. And it's a lot better than reaching out to cold prospects, because they don't know you. So it means you have to first of all get them to know you, like you, and trust you before you can raise money from them. But those people that already know you, you've already, covered that gap. All you have to do is go in and make the ask. So you see, your relationships are a valuable asset that you can tap into. And like I said, it's not just about asking for money. You can get skill sets from within your network to start helping you to build your organization, from graphic designs to web designs, and organizational structure, as fast you want, or your relationship can afford. The third type of capital most organizations have that they do not know about or they don't tap into is what we call the platform capital. You've been active on social media for a long time. You've been active on Facebook, you've been active on LinkedIn, you've been active on TikTok. People know you already, but you're not using these platforms to raise money or create impact for the people you serve. I know a founder who's very popular on Instagram, but he still struggled to raise money. That's because he never thought about the possibility of using his Instagram following to be able to attract people into his organization. So when you begin to look into your network, right, look into the platforms you have access to, sometimes it may not even be social media platforms. It could be the media platform within your community. Say, for example, somebody who's a TV broadcaster, or somebody within the in a radio station, AOP, right, OAP. One of these people, you can be able to reach out to them to have the organization on their platforms, thereby expanding your message. So you see, it's not really all about social media. There are other platforms you can also tap into that you already have access to. You just need to itemize them and go, reach out to these networks or start using them for the benefit of your organization. The last of the forms of capital that you have is what we call the reputational capital, or some people will call it your story capital. You have a good reputation, you've proven to be a trustworthy person, you have a good story. These are things you can bank on to actually raise money for your mission. For example, your story, because now in the world of raising money, story is the shortest cut. You can't be able to explain, you can't be able to get people, you can't be able to explain, try to convince people. But with a very good story, you can bridge that gap and get people to trust you and gift your organization as fast as possible. So it means if you share your story the right way, if you show up with your strong reputation, people will trust you and support your organization and give to your mission. But you are going to have to step up, right, and know how to use that story to attract people to your mission. So these are the 4 forms of capital that you have that you may not have taken account of, thinking the transformation you need is out there, thinking the resources you need is out there, when you have it all. You have intellectual capital, which is your understanding, your expertise, your knowledge on certain topics. You don't always have to ask for money. Sometimes you can convert your intelligence, your expertise, your knowledge into products and services that you can sell and get people to fund the organization. You have your relationship capital, people within your network who are business owners who can be able to sponsor your organization, people within your network who will be glad to give to your organization, people within your network who can help you set up your website, provide graphic designs. You should be able to tap into those opportunities. You have access to what we call the platform capital. You've been active on different social media networks. People know you, they've seen your work, they trust you. You can be able to tap into that to raise money for your organization. And then lastly, you have your reputational capital, which is you have a good story, you're trustworthy, you have a good track record, and people have been seeing you for some time and they trust you. That's something you can tap into. That's a story you can share out there to attract support for your organization. So, like I said at the beginning, we help organizations, we help nonprofit founders unlock transformational funding and partnership. Reach out to us, we'll be happy to help you and show you how to raise money for your organization sustainably. I'll see you in the next video.